Bugs Bunny is the progenitor of the classic character dresses in drag trope. What's interesting is looking back in retrospect at classic Bugs Bunny in drag versus later iterations on this gag. The joke wasn't how weird it was that a seemingly masculine character was dressing in femme outfits. Bugs is always confident and comfortable, whatever his appearance. Who or what Bugs' identity is in the moment becomes immaterial. He just is. No, the fun part is the absurdity of Elmer Fudd or Yosemite Sam getting swept up in Bugs' persona or theatrics. It's character and situation driven. If the joke lands, it's because of the thought and creativity behind it. These men were so desperate and hungry for a woman's attention that they didn't recognize Bugs having a laugh at their expense. It's poking fun at gender roles and heteronormative expectations. Preamble aside, I wanted to give some kind of hat tip to Bugs before bringing up two of my favorite cross-dressing capers in League of Super Evil and Wander Over Yonder. In the episode Voltina, Voltar's trademark red jumpsuit is accidentally bleached pink in the wash. After a low-budget Disney princess makeover, Voltar gets mistaken for Humongo's bride, Voltina. Suddenly, Voltar fully embraces the feminine in the pink if it includes all of the perks and trappings of a galactic empress. Voltar's initial debut in the pink jumpsuit pokes fun at the idea that pink is a girl's color, and by extension, pink equals girl. There's no way it's a short, angry villain in that jumpsuit, instead of a sweet, gentle, graceful lady. This segment even plays with the random passerby wolf whistling at Voltar. Everything here is framed as weird, disjointed, and uncomfortable. It's teeing up for the moment when Humongo's runaway bride crashes into Voltar, loses her veil, and Humongo mistakes Voltar for the woman that's supposed to be the love of his life. Humongo is one of Voltar's rough equivalents to what Elmer Fudd or Yosemite Sam are to Bugs. Voltar met and caught Humongo's ire when he prank called the Galactic Emperor and refused to apologize. Immediately after, Humongo kidnapped Voltar and then temporarily posed as him to steal huge quantities of black licorice to fuel ships. It makes sense in context. So, these two have some kind of history. Despite being the most powerful among Voltar's immediate rivals, Humongo falls a few ranks lower than Voltar's ultimate nemesis, Steve, his next-door neighbor, the squirrels in his backyard, and his personal Daffy Duck, Bon Pantaloon III. Voltar doesn't immediately clock the case of mistaken identity. Where Humongo is trying to win back Voltina, Voltar thinks Humongo is buying his friendship through an elaborate date and lavish gifts. Bugs tends to pose as a sweet woman of his dreams figure in his capers. Voltar stays his selfish, horrible self throughout his entire ruse. Even when Voltar realizes the truth of the situation, the only things he plays up are high-pitched effeminate voice and adding more frills or stereotypically girl things to his disguise. What makes this work so well is how bad Humongo looks the more obvious it is that this isn't Voltina, contrasted with how terrible Voltar is for exploiting this lovesick man. Extra points for Red Menace's one objection to the marriage is that Voltar doesn't know Humongo very well. The focus remains on the ruse. Even though viewers never get a full picture of who Voltina is or what she's like, the absurdity rests in how effective Voltar's "this is what a girl is, right?" act is. Voltar as Voltina does pull from examples or jokes where the humor relies on seeing a man in femme clothes as weird or outlandish. Though, while it borrows from that framework, the joke is subverted. The question is more about why pink is so heavily gendered by default. Why is a man in a specific manner or dress automatically perceived this way? It's not, "this is weird." It's asking, why is this weird? Granted, this was made in 2009. I'm docking points for Dr. Frog forced to dress in drag. His design is thoughtful, and he's told that he rocks the look, but would it be so unbelievable that he just wanted to wear a dress or think he looks good in one? That'd be enough to shelve what few complaints I have here. While Voltina does take Humongo back, there's enough evidence that she can be as obtuse and short-sighted as he is. They're a fantastic match for a setting dominated by the rule of ridiculous. One of Humongo's staple jokes is that he can be as oblivious as Voltar. He may be more powerful, but he doesn't utilize his resources as effectively as he could. One of his minions lampshades a better, more effective solution. Humongo sends that minion to the slime pit for questioning his competency and authority. Voltina upholds and even adds extra potency to this method of disciplining underlings. Wander Over Yonder technically goes in a very different direction with the date. So Lord Hater gets stood up and threatens to blow up a heart-shaped planet coded as the galaxy's premier date destination. Sylvia poses as a fellow heartbroken diner, goes on a whirlwind date with Lord Hater, and is almost forced into a lifetime as his wife. The Bugs cross-dressing gag does traditionally feature a mass character dressing femme, but Sylvia's stint as Linguini von Breadstick does technically fit. By herself, Sylvia doesn't subscribe to any specific gender expectations or molds. She's fully, unabashedly Sylvia. When she dons a Linguini disguise, it's a flimsy, slapdash take on a despondent woman stood up at a fancy restaurant. Women wear dresses, right? Sylvia wears a tablecloth crudely tied and shaped to resemble an evening gown. Her carefully coiffed styled hair is the end of a mop. Lord Hater is so desperate and lonely that he'll take anything vaguely woman-shaped or femme-adjacent. The entire crux of the episode is a misguided idea that all Lord Hater needs is someone to give him a chance. Hater threatened to blow up the planet because a princess stood him up. He didn't even ask the princess on a date himself. He blackmailed her father into setting her up with him in the first place. When Wander pushes Sylvia to stand in as Hater's pity date, every part of the Nightmare Night Out is a parable about why it's okay, even encouraged, to say no. It's not okay to be coerced or forced into something you don't want. There's never a window where Hater is honestly sympathetic. He's pathetic and horrible the entire time. He's single and lonely because he refuses to listen, is inconsiderate to his date's wants, needs, or preferences, ignores boundaries, and ultimately treats her as an object rather than as an autonomous person. Sylvia's comment about "it's just one date" punctuate what mental gymnastics or excuses a woman may use to help get through a date with an abuser that quickly snowball into a dysfunctional relationship. No matter what, there's no excuse or justification for a man treating his girlfriend or date poorly. The date is the groundwork for everything Season 2 explores in detail with Lord Dominator. It's fantastic as a standalone lesson about how important consent and boundaries are, though. All of that said, Sylvia's stint as Linguini is bookended by Wander trying to rescue her by rushing in as Hater's secret admirer in a Victorian dress with over-the-top mannerisms and demeanor. This is perfect timing and a reminder that Wander could have posed as Linguini himself. The date could have been a full run of Wander playing out a Bugs Bunny classic. While it was crummy to push Sylvia into this role, it's funnier and more meaningful from a narrative standpoint. Sylvia's obvious discomfort makes the satire work as effectively as it does here. The target is Hater's entitled attitude towards a potential girlfriend, rather than Sylvia's relationship with her gender. Wander doesn't need to retread Bugs Bunny's playbook here. It celebrates that gender expression is diverse in only one aspect of someone's personhood, rather than an all-encompassing, defining trait. It questions gender expectations and roles, rather than whether they should be upheld. And it questions how much weight is placed on relationship status. Both Wander and Sylvia are happier and healthier single than trying to bend over backwards to please a tyrant like Lord Hater in a sham of a romantic relationship. In a nutshell, I love these takes on the Bugs Bunny cross-dressing caper because of how they further what satirical potential there is in this gag. They're spiritual successors to what Bugs may have unintentionally started with his penchant for drag. I'd like to give a shout out to Starberry on Patreon. This is a newer perk I'm doing. If you're interested in getting a shout out and already follow or support me on Patreon, please send me a message giving me a heads up so I can add you to the next video. And if you follow my Patreon today, please leave a message saying that you'd like a personal shout out yourself. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy my stuff, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and add me to your RSS reader. Share this with your friends, family, villain rivals. If you're in a decent spot and can do so, I have a Patreon and a Ko-fi. Patreon members get to see some of my scripts, finished and unfinished, early. I've also opened requests on Ko-fi. I'll write up a short character analysis or other kind of analysis for $5, and make a 2 to 3 minute video on the topic of your choosing for $20. For 10 extra, it comes with a custom illustrated title card. If you've already donated $5 to $20 or more on Patreon over any duration of your membership, you can request analysis topics through email or Patreon itself.